My Small Town Tornado, a podcast by Tamara Williamson.
Raging on the horizon, I see shadows blowing through your mind.
My small town was hit by a tornado. It rolled through at 1:15 on May 21st, 2022. Its twisted journey scattered everything about, spared some things, obliterated others, but it left the people standing. It seems to have only broken one man's toe. Our first response showed my small town that there were heroes amongst us and caring behaviour flowed, but as the weeks wore on and the branches were cleared away, that's when the money response came into play, and that's when a different type of hurt started to show. 46 tornadoes touched down in Ontario in 2021. The average until that point was 12. This is a podcast about my small town, but it could just as easily be about yours. Brace yourself. It's coming. It's coming.
The clouds and the sky was changing very quickly, and I remember looking up, and it wasn't just us who were noticing it. You know, there were a bunch of people who were sitting outside, and everyone was commenting on, look, this looks quite dramatic. And I remember saying, I think I can see rotation in the clouds. You know, not even thinking anything. It just the clouds looked strange.
Right.
They looked different than before. It did look different.
As we were driving home down the main street in Uxbridge, down Brock, it started to rain harder until finally it was sort of just like this white wall was coming.
White wall of rain?
Yeah, like we couldn't see anything. It was like nothing I'd ever seen before, really. It was just, there was no visibility. Like sometimes you see that in a snow squall, but like this was in the middle of summer. And then essentially I could hear debris hitting our car. And the kids were in the car, obviously, and they were getting worried. And my husband sort of freaked out, more than I had ever seen him, because he's usually, I'd say, the calmer of the two of us.
And I just heard this roar of a sound I'd never heard before in my life. And then I kind of went foggy, because I remember going to grab my dog who was on the couch, grabbed her, looked out the window of our office, saw everything just crushed, went to run outside the door to go downstairs again, and there was debris blocking the door and I could see the roof was gone. She slammed the door, went back and stood in the hallway like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Where do I go? I'm in the worst possible place.
Uxbridge is situated about 75 kilometres northeast of Toronto. Its population is around 25,000, and one of its many good qualities is that it has very little sprawl. There's a small downtown and some small pockets of townhouses, a small retro cinema, a small bowling alley, and a few small restaurants, a great brewery, and some beautiful buildings. It's almost quaint. Another lovely thing about Uxbridge is that it's surrounded by vast amounts of farmland and gargantuan tracts of forest to explore. It makes the hike up the 404 from Toronto seem worth it, and the people who live in Uxbridge, for the most part, are proud of their town. On May 21st, when the tornado hit, people were sideswiped. This is a 6-part story. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the day when the tornado rolled through, just the actual event itself. You are listening to a Tamara Williamson podcast. My Small Town Tornado.